What is happening, guys? So, Monster Hunter Wilds beta. Let's talk about it. So, I played the first and second beta. So, the beta that was running around the beginning of this month, and then the one that just ended a few days ago. And now I documented a lot of it on the YouTube. So, that's going to be out there in a little mini Let's Play series for you guys to watch. And honestly, I'm really impressed. Went into this beta. I've never played a Monster Hunter game before. I'm, a Souls background. That's my cup of tea. But I've always heard the hype of Monster Hunter. And when I went into this, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that there was going to be monsters. I knew I had to slay the said monster, and that's about the gist of it. That's all I really knew. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into and the addiction that was going to come because of it. I think this is going to be fantastic. I'm super hyped for Wilds. I just want to get on here and talk about my experience with the beta, because my experience in the Let's Play that I posted, there's going to be 5 episodes and a mini Let's Play coming up through this week for you guys to watch. By the time you see this, you may have already watched them. I'm not sure the order I'm going to put this up yet. But if you have watched those, you can see my experience with it. And I don't know if on those episodes I'm really portraying how much I am enjoying it. After I had recorded those episodes, I played for another day because the beta was actually extended by an actual day. So I played the next day for like 5 hours the next day, not recording, just having fun, trying out different weapons, enjoying it, and making one last Arkfeld attempt to, which I did not kill him, but that's, he's my rival for another time. But that just goes into, the difficulty of this. I had no idea Monster Hunter was going to be such a difficult game. Now maybe it's just because it's the beta. I've actually looked online and I saw that because of it's a beta. They make things harder in the beta. And Arkfeld, you'll apparently have like 50 minutes to take him out in the actual game, is what I've heard. And if that's the case, I'm going to do it no problem, because I would have beat him in that last attempt had I had more time. I almost had him to skull, and I still had like 1 cart or 2 carts left. I maybe had 2 carts. I'm not even sure. I did really well that last attempt. Just have to get better at my pairing overall. And that's another thing it brings to me, pairing and stuff. This game is so reliant on counters, parries, stuff that I didn't even think I'd be saying with Monster Hunter. I thought Monster Hunter was going to be a hack and slash game. From what I've watched in the past, I've watched some people play it in the past, and I never understood the hype. I always thought it was just a hack and slash, kill a monster, carve it up, get the ingredients, make weapons. There's so much more to it, this game, though. So much more. And as you see the footage that's playing right now, like, I know the other Monster Hunter worlds are not open world, but just like walking around this world, it feels alive. And there's no really way to explain that other than just experiencing it. Like, for example, I wasn't recording it at that time, but I was out by the one pond and I was messing around with fishing. I'm out fishing, and all of a sudden an Arkveld just flies up near the pond on the other side of the pond to get a drink. An Arkveld, this apex beast, this apex predator, just flies up there, not attacking me, just comes up to get a drink. And I'm like, and that was like a moment that clicked with me, like, okay, this world is alive and it's thriving. This world is alive and thriving, and there is so much more than just slaying monsters. And that's the base of the game, but there's actually a world here. And I can't wait to explore this world when it actually gets, released on February 28th, which I'm so excited for. I know I said in my Let's Play I didn't know if I was going to buy it, but that last day that I was playing and I had that Arkfeld just come up on the pond when I was fishing there, and I had seen it and it just came up to get a drink and not attack me, I was like, okay, I'm buying this game. This game is more than just a cash grab at slaying monsters. That's what I really thought this was. I thought this was, if you followed me for a while, I'm not the biggest fan of Capcom. Capcom has done me wrong in the past. I'm not the biggest fan. So I didn't really think much of Monster Hunter. But when I experienced little things like that in the beta, that's the game just felt alive. I was like, okay, there's something here. There is something here. But yeah, overall, that like experience of it, I'm totally sold. Let's talk about the weapons. As for the weapons, I'm so impressed. That final day of the beta, I tried out every single weapon on different things, and I finally think I know what I'm going to play as. I finally think I know. I know I didn't mess around with it a lot in the videos because I was not understanding it, but the great sword. The great sword is so good, and I was playing it wrong on my Let's Play episodes that you're going to watch. You're going to see that I complained about it, but it was because I was playing it wrong. I was not using the shoulder check. Oh my gosh. The shoulder check is so good. You can hyper, anytime you use a shoulder check, you have hyper armor. If you tap that shoulder check into a monster's attack when it's attacking you, you block, or you don't block it, but you absorb just a little bit of that damage, and you're not knocked out of your charge attack. So then you can go right into a TCS, which is a true charge slash. See, I'm already using Monster Hunter terms, but so the great sword is so good. Also, the hammer, like you're seeing this player style right here, this V roll footage. You know, I really enjoyed the hammer. The hammer is kind of like just a pick it up weapon. You don't have to know any combos or anything about that. You can just kind of go in and smash stuff around, and it's a good time. And I'm all about that. But yeah, the great sword is definitely going to be probably what I main. My secondary, and I thought long and hard about this, my secondary weapon that I'm going to keep on secret is going to be the dual blades. My methodology and strategic thinking behind this is big bonk weapon, great sword, and for other occasions that I need a faster mobility weapon, I'm going to pull out the dual blades because I really enjoyed the dual blades. Usually dual blades daggers in games I'm not a huge fan of. Even though dual blades short swords in Elden Ring is a pretty fun playstyle, so I've never always been against that, but I've never been that kind of playstyle that plays with, two short swords or two dual blades on the regular. But in Monster Hunter, it's good. I really like how there's not too much thinking to it. There's a couple gauges you have to monitor with, demon mode and arc demon mode. And then that mode where if you get a perfect dodge, you go into it and then you have like iframes for dodges. That's just freaking sweet. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think I'm going to go with the great sword as my main and my secondary as the dual blades. But that's the cool thing about this game. You don't have to pick a weapon either. You can use different weapons for different hunts. I tried out the gun lance and I loved the gun lance. The only thing about the gun lance though, as much as how hyped up Rurikon talks about it, if you don't follow Rurikon, make sure and follow him. But the gun lance is a very skill-based weapon. There are combos you have to learn, and you have to always be thinking. And you have to use shelling, and then B and YB, and it's these combos. And these combos are something, in my opinion, that take the fun out of the game. For me, anyway. Maybe not for you. Maybe if you like combos, maybe that's your weapon. Fine. But when I'm slaying a monster, I want to focus on strategically trying to beat the monster, watching his attacks. I don't want to have to be thinking in the back of my head, YB, Y, B, Y, L2. I don't want to have to be thinking like that. So for me, the gun lance is not it. I gave it a good try though. I really enjoyed it. The regular lance I really liked. As you saw with my final attempt with Arkfeld, I almost got him to skull, and I used a lance. The lance is really, really good. Really, really fun too. Other weapons I liked, obviously the hammer. I didn't care for the sword and shield. It felt too basic, I guess. I tried some of the ranged weapons, didn't care for the heavy bowgun. Light bowgun was okay. I liked the bow. The bow, I feel like is going to take quite a bit of mastery to use though. And I don't know if I have the patience to want to master that. Other weapons, charge blade, I can't figure out. That's way too complicated for me. I tried to look up some guides for that, and I was like, oh, this is way over my head. So the charge blade, not for me. The switch axe, I like a lot. It just needs tuned up. And I did read online that the actual game, it's going to be tuning up the damage on the switch axe. And if that's the case, I'm going to be all for the switch axe because it's a fun weapon. You have a giant axe and you also have a sword. What other weapons was there? Let's see. We talked about the hammer. I like the hammer a lot. I know I'm missing a lot of weapons. There's like 14 weapons, but I didn't try the hunting horn. The hunting horn was one I haven't tried yet. I do want to try it just to see, but I don't think it's going to be my my cup of tea to use, just from a stylish perspective. I like big swords. But I'm trying to think of all of the other weapons here. Um, what were some of the other ones? We had the great sword, the well, those are the sword. Those are the weapons that really rang true with me. I know I'm missing a few of the other ones, and I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now. They must not be that important to me. But the point is, though, the weapon that you choose is totally up to you. If you're struggling with finding a weapon, if you're like me, coming from a Souls background, start out with something like the hammer. The hammer is really, when I was playing the hammer against this guy right here, I started to figure out little things about Monster Hunter at that point. I was able to like get into it a little more. The dual blade's also very easy to learn. I'd say a very easy weapon to learn. Sword and shield is easy to learn, but it's not flashy. It doesn't have a lot of cool things to do. It's kind of like a jack of all trades, but a jack of not a complete of everything, if that's how you want to say it. So those are just some recommendations. You can also try the great sword too if you like big swords from Souls games. Obviously, that's always a good thing to go with if you're struggling with trying to find something. But the point is, mess around with weapons. Just see what you want to use, because I had no idea, and I had to test basically everything and try to kill different monsters, experiment with combos, and see what just vibed with me. Let the weapon pick you. You don't pick the weapon. Let the weapon pick you. So if you know what that means, vibe with it and go with it. But if we talk about performance, now I know this game, guys, is not performing well in the beta. I'm running a 3060 RTX in my rig, and I was only averaging about 45 frames per second on medium to high settings. If I went to low, I could get that closer to 50, but the quality of the game looks terrible at that point. So I was settling for 45 at medium to high settings, but at the same time, though, I wasn't extremely happy with that. I like to play at 60 FPS if I can. So I'm hoping that that's just a beta thing, and I'm hoping they fix that, because if the regular game launches and if it plays like the beta, I'm going to be a little disappointed, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm still buying it on day one. I was so impressed with the beta, so impressed with everything they gave me and the experience I had, that it's a take my money type of thing, $70, take my money at this point, because I just had that good of a time. So I'd say performance is not a deal breaker. I think if you're worried about your rig, maybe, you have 2 hours on Steam. You have 2 hours, buy the game, play it, set a timer, because this is how I got screwed in Dragon's Dogma. I had bought Dragon's Dogma and I wanted to return it because it was playing like crap. And I got screwed because I played longer than 2 hours and Steam did not refund it. So that was a little sour tasting. But anyway, if you're going to try that, though, make sure and set a timer for like an hour and a half. After an hour and a half, if you're not happy with the performance, go ahead and refund it, if that's a thing for you. But if not, I think there will be patches. I think it will get better in time, performance-wise, because obviously this is a big launch. Monster Hunter is a big thing. I'm sure they don't want to fail this. I'm sure they're putting a lot of time and a lot of money into solving a lot of these performance issues. I sure hope they are. Some other things I want to talk about too. Let's go into character creator. I was super impressed with the character creator. Character creator is basically like Dragon's Dogma's character creator, which was also really good. So that gets an A+ in my opinion. There you can change your character to look basically just like you. I was looking for the footage of the character creator for me, but for some reason I deleted it. It was some of the footage I didn't upload on YouTube because it was basically just character creation. So I don't have that V-roll footage to show you. But I did create a character that looks basically just like me. Okay, so like this is the closest of the character creator I got. So you can kind of see, I did a pretty decent job creating me. I got the little man bun going on the back, the long hair. I like too on the character creator, you can totally change the length of the hair to a certain degree. You can't make it as long as I'd like. I mean, in real life, my hair is down to my waist, but I can only make it go down to like half my back. So it does have its limitations, but overall, I was very, very impressed with all the different things you can do. And also you have total control over what your palico looks like too. I wish I could show you what mine looks like. I just don't have that footage. But yeah, the character customization is top of the line. I did hear though, and I hope I'm wrong on this, that you're going to have to pay money to change your character in the real game. I really hope that's false. let's just say that's false because I don't want to have a bad rap on that. But yeah, as terms of like UI and how the menus look and how organized things are for a newcomer to the series, they can get kind of daunting. I'm not going to lie. It took me a long time to figure out what I was doing, and I still don't know what I'm doing. I still don't understand how to throw out traps yet. I didn't mess around with that much because I was too interested in learning the weapons. So there's a lot of things that I really need to just learn. You can cook foods. This part was pretty easy. I did experiment with cooking different types of foods. I was out fishing, I tried cooking a fish. You can see how different buffs happen from that. Also, too, I mean, the food looks delicious. How many times you're going to want a steak after seeing these cutscenes? But yeah, I created a good character. I mean, my character looks basically almost like me to a certain degree. I was real happy with it. So all that is going to be all that's top of the line. I'm really happy with all that. But like I said, the menus and stuff can get a little daunting for us newcomers to the series. It's just going to take some time to learn, just like anything. Quest board and stuff. This is all kind of basic stuff for the most part. It's not really new to RPGs or action roleplay games or anything like that, But this was all laid out well. This is all easy to understand stuff. I'm not sure I understand the multiplayer, how that works. If you know, in the comments, can you like join up with a friend and do quests? Please let me know if you can do that. Because obviously in the beta, I don't think you could do that. But in the real game, I feel like you should be able to, since it's like a type of, it's like an MMO experience in a way. You go into a lobby, other players are there. You can connect with them, go on quests. I just want to know if you can make like a private lobby and invite friends. I feel like that should be a thing. Let me know in the comments if it is. Now, I don't understand. I've never played a Monster Hunter game, so I don't know how they work. If the campaign is going to be like an actual story, or if it's just going to be a bunch of quest boards that we have to do. I don't know. If you could also comment in the comments too, if you're familiar with Monster Hunter, is there a campaign actually? Obviously, this is the first open world ever Monster Hunter game, so I'm sure that's going to play a role. But it seems like there's going to be a campaign. Like it started off with a little bit of a story. We got to play the little teeny bit in the beta, and then it cuts it off. So I'm guessing there's going to be a campaign. I'm guessing it's not just going to be the whole game going out, killing random monsters and bringing them back for loot. That just doesn't seem like there's really any point to that. If that seems like a basic mobile MMO that you could just buy on your phone. So hoping there's a campaign. And from what I see, I think there is going to be one. From what I've experienced in the beta, I'm like 95% sure that there's going to be a campaign in this game. But if we want to talk about some other things, the actual hunts, every hunt I went on was really fun. Arkveld, super, super hard for a newcomer to the series. I'm not even actually that mad that I couldn't beat him. I'm actually looking at it as like he's my rival. I'm going into Monster Hunter like, he's going to die. He's like, I really wanted to kill him in the beta. I'm not going to lie. I spent entirely way too long trying to beat him. I spent, oh my gosh, I probably tried 50, 60 times or more. I don't think I've ever tried that much on any boss in any game. And if you want to look at it like this, I've never lost to any boss ever in my life. If I've, focused on him, this is the first boss that I couldn't beat ever in my life. So that's a little scary, but it's also exciting. Like this is the first boss. Like I've taken out some of the hardest bosses in games, from, Sekiro, Ishin's Sword Saint, Demon of Hatred, Medir and Dark Souls 3. I've taken out some such hard bosses that made me drag my head into walls, but for me to spend 60 tries or so, or, if you want to look at it hours, I spent probably over 10 hours. I spent probably 8 to 10 hours on trying to beat this dude, and I couldn't do it. And it does suck because I like to be able to conquer these things. I make guides, I make YouTube guides on how to beat bosses and stuff. So when I couldn't beat this dude, I was like thinking, man, am I worthy to call myself a guide maker? Even though I've made guides to help tons of people fight some of the hardest bosses in Souls games. But it made me realize though, I'm excited for it. It's a new challenge. It's a new experience. And I'm looking at it as he is my rival and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to beat him in the regular game. And I kind of thought about this like from an anime that I'm a big fan of. If you've never watched Shangri-La Frontier, That game is so much like Monster Hunter. So much. The whole game is based on him when he's a noob getting his ass kicked by a apex predator, like an apex beast in the game. And then the game is like him trying to take the anime is like him trying to take that monster out later on, and get revenge on it basically when he's level 99. Now I'm not gonna like get to say level 99 and then come. I'm gonna fight him at a respectable time. But it's just kind of an interesting thing. It kept making me think of that anime when I was getting stuck on him. I was like, instead of being mad that I can't beat this dude, just thinking of it as it's a challenge that I'm gonna have to conquer eventually because I will drive my head through a wall to beat this thing. And heck, if the beta was still going on, I'd still be trying to beat this thing. Don't get me wrong. The only reason I quit is because the beta ran out of time. And that's another thing too. It's a time thing. It's the fact that this is such. You only have 20 minutes to kill this thing, and I am not a fan of time limits in games. I really wish that they take a time limit out because this would be such a more fun fight if I could take my time and strategically take him on. Because I would have beat him with the lance. I would have no doubt beat him. I had him almost to skull, and I still had like 2 cards left, like I had told you before. And he was right on the limb. So I know I could have beat him. I just needed a little bit more time. I ran out of time. Most of the attempts I had that were good with him, I just ran out of time. So, but I know that's just a beta thing. I did look up on Reddit, and apparently that's pretty popular with Monster Hunter games, is having a beta with an extremely hard timed boss that people can have basically just bragging rights if you beat it, which I could care less about bragging rights. I just wanted to beat it just for my own sake. But it does suck though. But at the same time, it's like, I'm excited. Arkveld is a rival that I have to beat eventually. And it's exciting that I have a boss that is really, really epically hard. Something that I have to practice. I have to get better. I don't know how I have to master these weapons. I'm not familiar with these weapons. As you see me try here with the greatsword, I didn't even know you could shoulder check with the greatsword here when I'm using it. I didn't learn that till the beta was almost over and I was messing around. So little things like that. There's so many little things to this game that is an eye-opener to me, because in Souls games, you have a great sword, you have a heavy swing and a light swing, and you have, maybe some skills with that. That's it. In this game, there are combos, the way you hit Y, you can charge it, the timing, if you time it right, you can counter it with an attack, you can shoulder check, you can block. Everything is so skill-based in this game. And that's why I just really, really like it. I am blown away actually by everything the beta has showed me. My expectations were, boom, shattered. I mean, everything about it. I'm so excited to try this game. I'm so excited to play it through. Other than that though, that was my experience basically with the beta. I don't have much else to say. I'm not gonna sit here and just rant on things. I don't have very much else to say at all. I'm just excited to get into this world. Let me know in the comments, guys, below. Are you excited to jump into this world? Are you buying Monster Hunter Wilds or are you waiting till they fix performance issues? Or did you not have fun with the beta? Did you try the beta? Just let me know in the comments what you guys think, because I think this could be game of the year. And I never thought I'd be saying that about a Monster Hunter game because I never understood the hype before, but I get it. I understand the hype now. But let me know, guys. Like this video if you enjoyed this, gave you some entertainment for the day, and we'll see you guys on the Let's Play. I'm guessing the Let's Play is going to begin for me like on March 1st or 2nd. I'm going to take a couple days to experiment with some weapons, and then I'll start recording. So it comes out February 28th. So expect like the first episode on like March 2nd, I think. That'll give me a good time to play around with it. But yeah, stay tuned, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time.